Yo, what's going on, Sixer fans? It's DFJ Hoops here, back again with another live stream. Oh man, we got to talk about this, man. We got to talk about this game, the Sixers versus the New York Knicks. Embiid finally returns. Has he had a little bit of struggles? We're going to talk about everything. Paul George finally got into some sort of rhythm. We're going to talk about that, and also Jared McCain continues to impress Sixers fans. So we're going to talk about all of that, but if you just came in, please make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also, don't forget to hit the bell notification icon as well. Shout out to my guy, Michael. Says, what's good? Tough loss. But I don't know what y'all got going on in Philly. This is sad. I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about all of it, bro. Appreciate you. But, yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's just get straight into it. So, on the screen right here, I mean, the Sixers in-season tournament court, which, I mean, this one looks way better than last season's in-season tournament court. But this is also terrible because it really hurts my eyes. But I'll definitely take this one over last year's one. But my thing is, like, why can't they use the regular courts? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. But, hey, it is what it is. Shout out to my guy who is Hendo. Hey, man, I was watching the Golden State Warriors game last night. Man, Steph Curry is cold-blooded. All right, 12 straight points. You just put the put the Mavs to sleep, bro. I couldn't believe it because they was up by 7 points with about a minute left. That was crazy. Yeah, let's talk about it, man. I don't want to waste any more time. So Joel Embiid, right, missed the first 9 games of the season, comes back against the Knicks. I mean, we already knew he was going to be on minutes restriction, so that wasn't any surprise or any shock. But Joel came out there and he was out of shape, right? He was out of shape. And I have to question the Sixers organization. Like, what's the point of benching Joel Embiid or setting him out or quote unquote this individualized plan? What's the point of coming up with this if he's still going to come into the season out of shape? Because it makes absolutely no sense. It makes 0 sense for him to miss the first 9 games, miss all the preseason, miss the first 9 games of the regular season, and then come into the season in his first game against the Knicks, and then he's still out of shape, right? He was out of shape, played the first 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then take me out, coach. And then Nick Nurse had to take him out. And then he acted like he had to go to the locker room to go check his knee out. Bullshit. There was nothing wrong with the knee. We all knew he was out of shape. That's why he just went to the locker room to just make it a cover-up. This dude was out of shape. And the Sixers, we need to hold the Sixers accountable. And we got to hold Embiid accountable as well. And I have to question Embiid, do you really want to win? Because you can't keep coming into the season out of shape and expect to go and win a championship. It don't work like that. It shows that you're not dedicated to winning a championship. It just doesn't. And I got to call it out. Now, Sporting Page last night was on my show, and he says I baby Joel Embiid. I don't baby him. Now I'm calling him out. Because he can't keep coming into the season out of shape like this and expect to go win a championship. It makes no sense whatsoever. So the Sixers, hopefully this plan works out for them. Because if it doesn't, then it's not gonna be of any benefit. But Embiid came into this game, and I mean, you could clearly tell he was rusty, right? Because he hasn't played in the first 9 games. But the effort that he gave out there was just poor. It was just terrible. And him being on minutes restrictions didn't really help him a lot because he wasn't really in any sort of rhythm. I think he missed his first 2-3 shots. Those jumpers came up short. But, the Knicks played some good defense on him, so you got to give the Knicks some sort of credit. And the Knicks were double teaming him sometimes. So, I mean, Embiid being at this was at 40%, 50%, he's still drawing double teams, right? And with him being out there on the court, it opened up a lot for the Sixers, right? It gave the Sixers some good open looks. It gave some guys a lot of opportunities like Paul George, Jared McCain. Now I'm going to get to Jared McCain in a few minutes, but Embiid being out there, I mean, you could clearly tell that his presence out there on the floor, it just opens up a lot for the Sixers. Now, their defense in transition, that's a different thing because the Knicks beat the Sixers in transition a lot, and his rebound, it wasn't really there. I mean, I don't know. That knee brace that he got on, that big-ass knee brace on his left knee, I think that knee brace really bothers him a lot, right? I think it hampers him a lot, and he's not really able to be as mobile out there on the floor. Now, the rebounding effort, I felt like he should have got more rebounds. There was on one possession where he got 2 offensive rebounds in a row, but overall, his rebounding effort in this game was not. It was non-existent, right? It was non-existent. Smash the like button as y'all come in. It was non-existent, and the Knicks play some good defense. Karl Anthony Towns got him on a few swipe downs. They stripped him off the ball a few times. Anthony Towns blocked his shot, one of his shots. So it was not a good offensive game for him, but he, as a playmaker, did create some open looks for his teammates. I think he finished with 5 assists or something like that. I got to go look up the stats, but I just think that he has to, it'll take him a few games for him to get back to at least close to MVP Joel Embiid, right? There's 9 games that he missed. It was literally it made no sense to me, right? It made no sense. Because if he's gonna come into this game out of shape, then why would you set him out? Why would you set him out for 9 games? It just didn't make any sense to me. Hendo says, "Man, what happened? Joel got to be in basketball shape. Exactly, he got to be in basketball shape. But if you're not playing basketball, how can you get in basketball shape, right? So I think we got to blame Joel, and we got to blame the Sixers organization for that as well. But let me just get into this game right here, and let's talk about what happened in this game. So the Sixers, the first possession, I mean, that was a Embiid and Paul George connection, right? They set a flare screen. Kyle Lowry set a flare screen for George on that baseline. Then he came off the screen, and then Embiid was able to find him, and then Paul George was able to get a layup to go. Now that action was very, very good. We haven't in the past few games, we haven't really seen the Sixers run actions like that to get some of these players open like that. So I was happy that I saw an action like that, and there were a couple of actions like that throughout the game, but the Sixers didn't really capitalize on it as much. The looks were there, but they just couldn't convert. And then on the other side, Karl Anthony Towns was just going at Joel Embiid. He just, I mean, his first 2 points were 3-pointers, right? He made those threes. Embiid was late on the closeout, so he gave up those threes, and then he had 2 layups on Embiid. Which the first one he just initiated contact, went through him and tried to finish. Which Embiid did play some good defense on Cat, in my opinion. But I believe it could have been better, right? It could have been much better defense, but he did the best he could. And Karl Anthony Towns was just being aggressive from the start, and that was the game plan for the Knicks. Now the Sixers, they did a better job defensively on on Jalen Brunson, right? They had him in a straitjacket. All credit to Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin. I mean, Caleb Martin was the primary defender on him, so he had him in check. That first quarter, I don't think Jalen Brunson even scored. Now he finished the game with double digits, but that came later on in the second, third, and fourth, where he started to get to the free throw line. He started to make a couple shots, and he got into some sort of rhythm. But overall, it was just an inefficient game for him. So, but I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, like I said, was being aggressive, and then when he got it going, everybody else on the team got it going, and then you saw OG Anunoby. I think OG Anunoby led all. Yeah, he led the game, and he led all scores. I think he finished with about 25 or 26 points. But yeah, once Cat got it going, and Cat started to make some good passes. They started collapsing on Karl Anthony Towns, and he was making the right plays, making the right reads, finding OG Anunoby at the 3-point line, finding Mikal Bridges at the 3-point line, and also they had Deuce McBride. Miles McBride came off the bench, and he was making some tough shots. I mean, Miles McBride is a baller, right? I really like Miles McBride. I really wish he was on the Sixer team because he plays so well, right? He plays so well coming off the bench. He can score. He can put it on the floor. He can shoot the 3. And defensively, he's not as terrible as some of these little guards, right? He's only 6'1", but he's not as terrible on defense. So that's one thing I love about Deuce McBride. I believe he might be in 6-man conversations, but we'll just have to see. But I just like the energy he plays with, coming out there, making shots, playing defense. It just helps the Knicks out very, very well. But in this game right here, Paul George started cooking, right? He started cooking. OG Anunoby started on him as the primary defender on Paul George, and OG Anunoby in that first half, especially in the first quarter, he couldn't do anything with him. Like Paul George was hitting jumpers in his grill. Paul George was taking him to the basket. Paul George was dancing on him, and it was just nothing that OG could do with him, right? But the thing with Paul George is that because of the minutes restrictions, they had to take him out, later on down in the game, and that really messed up with his rhythm. And then he came in that fourth, and that fourth wasn't really a good quarter for him. He missed a few shots that he's capable of making, and also he did turn the ball over a couple of times in that fourth. But in the first quarter, he was cooking it. I think he finished with 11 points in that first quarter for the Sixers. And the first quarter was all Paul George, right? Cooking the Knicks defense, the Knicks quote unquote great defense that they have, right? I heard people keep telling me that they have the best perimeter defense in the league, and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges and all these guys, but they had no answer for Paul George, right? Every coverage they threw at him, he was just cooking them, right? Every switch that he had, he was just going at everybody, going at Karl-Anthony Towns, and also he was playing some good defense as well on the other side, right? He had some good defensive possessions on Jalen Brunson, and he was, in that first quarter, he was part of the Sixers' plan to slow down Jalen Brunson. Him, Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, those three guys play some good perimeter defense on Jalen Brunson, and that really stifled him in that first quarter. But nonetheless, the Sixers finished the first quarter with 25 points, and the Knicks, they put up 27. Now the Sixers, Embiid did get to the free throw line a couple times. Yeah, he flopped his way to the free throw line. Yeah, he's trying to get some of those swipe down fouls, and some of them didn't get called, but some of them did get called. And even though he started off this game 0 for 3, 0 for 4 from the field, he did find his way to the free throw line. And I think Embiid finished this game with 13 points, 5 assists, and 2-3 rebounds or something like that. But overall, it was just a bad overall game for Joel Embiid. Steph 12 straight points. Yeah, I saw it. That was a casket. I ain't gonna lie, that was a casket. Shout out to KBFR, Kobe Bryant Film Room. Joel missed training camp. It's gonna take a minute for his rhythm and timing. Is off. His ass been out of shape. No excuses. Yeah, it's just no excuses because what's the point of missing the first 9 games, and then you come into the season and then you look the same? Like Embiid always comes into the season, like his first game, he's always terrible, right? It's always terrible. So I thought this season was going to be a little bit different, but it was the same thing. So I guess the individualized plan is just not working out. I don't know, but it's just not working out. It's just, I don't know. Brunson looks off. I thought y'all was going to take this one, but Karl-Anthony Towns dominated out of shape Embiid. Yeah, he did. Karl-Anthony Towns did. I think he finished this game with 20 points, the 20 or 21 points. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, had a little bit of echo, but yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns, 21 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. Yeah, he had a pretty all around decent game. He outplayed Joel Embiid, no excuses, right? He outplayed him. But the Sixers had a chance, and for the most part, this game was fairly close until the Knicks, they separated themselves in that fourth quarter, which we're going to get to. But in the second, that first possession to start that second quarter, the Sixers gave up, 2 offensive rebounds, right? And you got to give the Knicks a lot of credit because they battled on the glass. They didn't give up on the plays, and that was all Miles McBride and Jericho Sims. Now, Jericho Sims, he's not a very good, he's a decent player, but he's not somebody that you look to play. Now, I believe if Mitchell Robinson is in the lineup, I don't think Jericho Sims is going to get any playing time. But Jericho Sims came into this game. He played some decent defense, grabbed a few rebounds. He ran the floor, right? He did what he was supposed to do, right? In those non-Karl-Anthony Towns minutes, and it was impressive. But I think Jericho Sims should be a lot better than what he is right now. Offensively, he's not that polished offensively. He has just raw talent, raw abilities. But I think he has to be developed, right? The Knicks have to develop him, but for what he did last night, I'll definitely give him credit. Um, I'll definitely give him credit because he definitely helped the Knicks a lot with those rebounds. The Knicks didn't really rebound the basketball that well in the first half, but in the second half they absolutely changed everything, and that's how they were able to win this game. Um, I saw him fall and lay there huffing and puffing. Yeah, after that foul, when Karl Anthony Towns took both him and Kelly Oubre out, yeah, he fell down and he was just out. Like he was out of shape. Like it was just terrible, man. I don't know. This man, I don't even want to talk about it. Shout out to the sporting page. Appreciate you. 26 minutes, 11 shots, one offensive rebound. Yeah, it was a terrible night for him, man. Terrible night for him. I predicted that I was expecting him to get a 20 and 10 game, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Finished with 13 points, 5 assists, and 2, 3 rebounds or whatever that was. But I believe he's gonna get better, but it was just a terrible, terrible game for him. He says, "This is the guy you love to prop up." Well, this is the guy you like to prop up. You like to prop up there with legendary bigs. I mean, it's his first game back. I mean, I did criticize him. He probably missed the part, so I'm not even. I'm not giving him any props whatsoever. This first game was terrible, but I believe Embiid is definitely he's gonna play himself into shape, and he's definitely gonna be he's gonna get close to MVP Joel Embiid, but it's gonna take him a few games for him to get to that level. Yeah, smash the like button, smash the like button, smash the like button. I'm, yeah, 11 shots, 5 of them were from the 3-point line. Embiid is so skilled. Sporting page, Embiid is skilled than Bill Russell. Get over it. Just get over it. He's more skilled than Bill Russell. Shout out to the Full of Basketball podcast. Appreciate you. That nigga Embiid, within 3 minutes, went to the bench and was. I was laughing like hell because I've seen that look by teammates. Yeah, and then he acted like he had to go to the locker room to go check out his knee, and there's nothing wrong with the knee, right? There's nothing wrong with the knee. He just wanted to use that as a cover up to, take away from the fact that he was out of shape, right? But I mean, I've seen this too many times. You can't fool me. You might fool the others, but you can't fool me. Yeah. Yeah, salute to the Pro Basketball Podcast, man. Salute, salute, salute. And also salute to Rick Masters with the $20 donation. Appreciate you. He says that was a big ass knee brace, and yeah, he did seem rusty, but that was to be expected. I mean, it was to be expected, but I didn't expect it to be this bad, right? Considering him missing the first 9 games, and the Sixers saying that they have this quote unquote individualized plan for him, and that's what he's following. I expected him to come out and be much better than what he was last night, but it was just I've seen this way too many times. I saw this last season against the Bucks. I saw like last 2 seasons against the Celtics. So I've seen this many times, right? So I just think the Sixers need to they have to it should they have to hold Embiid accountable, right? We have to hold Embiid accountable. You cannot be showing up to the season out of shape like that and expect to go win a championship. It just don't work like that. But let me continue with the second quarter. So, like I said, the Knicks they started off with those 2 offensive rebounds that got them going. They capitalized off those offensive rebounds. Now, Josh Hart he did finish with double-digit rebounds, but in the first half it wasn't as crazy. Most of his rebounds came in the second half. But Embiid, on the other hand, had 2 offensive rebounds. And then he wasn't able to convert. Right, his shot just hit the side of the backboard or whatever that was. But Paul George did check in at the 6-minute mark, and the Sixers, most of their points came from the free throw line, right? Kelly Oubre got to the line a couple times. Caleb Martin got to the line. Jared McCain got to the free throw line a couple times as well. And speaking of Jared McCain, he's been so impressive so far in these last 3 games that he's played in. I mean, I think in the last 3 games, he's scoring like double digit points. Against the Hornets, he was just fearless. right? He's fearless, relentless. He's not scared of nobody. He can put the ball on the floor. He can get to the basket. He can do everything. I think at this point, Jared McCain should be the sixth man on this team, right? And now I hear people saying that Jared McCain should start for the Sixers, which, it's not, I'm not even going to disagree with it because the Sixers currently have no guard play, right? Maxey's out, and then you got to rely on Kyle Lowry. And funny enough, Kyle Lowry is the best playmaker on this team, and he clearly is not the player that he once was, right? He can't move as he once could. So that really it hurts the Sixers in multiple ways. In transition, it hurts them in the half court. But Jared McCain is able to come in the game and make shit happen, right? He just came in this game. He just had like instant chemistry with Joel Embiid, right? Working off those screens, doing some high-low actions with Joel Embiid, coming off the Embiid screen, shooting threes, and it was an all-around great. I mean, not great, but all-around good game for Jared McCain, especially for somebody who's in his rookie season, right? Not getting any playing time whatsoever. Now, last night he did play about 30 minutes, so I think he's earning Nick Nurse's trust. I said this last night, but at this point, I think Nick Nurse has to. You got to keep playing him because you have no other option, right? You have no other option, and I think Nick Nurse is a type of coach that, in order for you to get minutes, you have to prove that you deserve it. So I think that's Nick Nurse. But sometimes I believe you have to make exceptions, right? You got to make exceptions. And sometimes when you don't have as many players, you don't have to keep playing these older guys. You have to go some of these younger guys, right? So I definitely loved it when he played Jared McCain all those minutes. And he did play Jeff Dowtin Jr. Now, Jeff Dowtin Jr. didn't really have a good game. But what he does, like, he's solid defensively. He can push the break in transition. Like, he can get guys going. He can get guys shots. Like, he's a much better option than a Kyle Lowry, right? Now I'm hearing people saying that why is Jeff Dowtin playing? He shouldn't be playing. But I mean, I'd rather he play than Kyle Lowry play because Kyle Lowry's not giving you anything whatsoever. Kyle Lowry played all the minutes and only gave you five or 6 points or something nasty like that. So I'd rather those minutes go to Jeff Dowtin Jr. and Jared McCain on the screen than Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, and Reggie Jackson. Rick says pull-up is in the house. What up, BJ? Just checking on Andre's analysis. Always killing. Appreciate you, Rick. Appreciate you. Yeah, I got. Make sure y'all smash that like button for me, man. But yeah, Paul George, he checked in the 6 minute mark, and the Sixers, they continued to attack the basket. I mean, Kelly Oubre was terrible in this game, but as a slasher, I definitely appreciate what he brings to the table because he can definitely put pressure on the rim. He can definitely get to the free throw line, but he's sometimes a black hole on offense, right? He's a black hole on offense. He takes ill-advised shots sometimes. In transition, he's not looking to pass sometimes, and he just causes the Sixers to miss a lot of opportunities. And what I mean by it is there was one play where the Sixers were in transition. Paul George was on his left-hand side. McCain was on his right-hand side. And all he had to do was just pass it to one of them, right? But instead, he just forced a tough shot against two defenders at the rim, and he just missed it. And the Sixers missed an opportunity like that, right? Other instances where they pass the ball to him and he just shoots it, right? He just shoots it, and those are just bad shots for Kelly Oubre. Kelly is not a three-point shooter, right? He's not a three-point shooter. I'd rather he gets those easy opportunities at the rim before he starts shooting threes. But, sometimes he gets trigger happy and he just jacks up a lot of shots. Now, I'm not even looking at his percentages, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's shooting like below 30% from the three-point line because he's been that terrible. But defensively, I give him all this credit because he's solid defensively. Like, he definitely did a great job on Jalen Brunson, right? He played some great perimeter defense on Jalen Brunson. Him, Caleb Martin, Paul George, like, these guys had Jalen Brunson in check. But offensively, it's just sometimes he tries to do too much, and it really hurts the Sixers. It hurts our chances. Now, Caleb Martin, on the other hand, sometimes he's aggressive. Sometimes he's not aggressive. Now, he's not very polished offensively, But defensively, he does what he does, which I give him credit for. But offensively, is just when he puts the ball on the floor, that shit is nasty to watch sometimes. And that jump shot, that shooting form is just man, I don't even want to talk about it. But Caleb Martin could have been better, a whole lot better last night. But it's not solely his fault that the Sixers lost. I mean, the Sixers had a lot of players that didn't really show up in a sense. Um, Yabusele had a great game, right? A good game against the Charlotte Hornets. But last night it wasn't really his night, right? He had a lot of wide open looks, and those shots was just not falling. Embiid created some wide open looks for him, right? He was running some high low actions with Embiid. Embiid did kick out to him in the corner multiple times, but those shots was just not falling. I think he only made about 1 3 in this game right here. Yeah, he was 1 for 5 from the 3-point line, and he did get the looks, but it just wasn't falling for him. But nonetheless, I think Paul George, 29 points. This is the first game that he really was in rhythm. This is a game that this is probably his best game so far as a 76er. And Thomas, the first 3 games after all those games ended, you'll be the first person in my Instagram DMs telling me that we're paying Paul George $212 million and he's only giving you 15 points, 14 points. But after last night's game, you wasn't in my DMs though. I wonder why. But yeah, I'm glad Paul George did show up for this team. But those 29 points, if he was playing his regular minutes and not in minutes restrictions, he probably would have had a 30-point game, and the Sixers probably would have had a chance to win this game right here. But the second quarter was, the Sixers did get to the free throw line a lot, generating those rim pressure. The Knicks were playing some terrible defense as well. Karl Anthony Towns, mostly the perpetrator, getting called for some of these fouls, and the Sixers were able to get to the line and pick up these easy points. But overall, the offense in the second quarter was not as good until Paul George came in. When Paul George came in, that's when he started to cook. Paul George destroyed OG Anunoby in the first half, right? He totally demolished him. But that's how he started getting those points to go. He was also creating some opportunities for others. Created some opportunities for Jared McCain and Caleb Martin. Some of these guys had a few kick out passes to them, and they were making shots. So when Paul George was in the game, the Sixers had a positive result offensively. Now defensively, that's another that's another issue because the Sixers lost this game defensively, especially in transition, and that's how you saw OG Anunoby get those, get behind the defense and get those transition breakaway dunks. This game was fairly close, the first 3 quarters, but in the fourth, that's where it got away from the Sixers. But to start the third, Embiid got to the free throw line, a couple of times, and some of those shots, like I said, his shots were coming up short, just hitting the front of the rim multiple times, and sometimes he did get stripped before he even went up for his shooting motion, and sometimes he got blocked. Karl Anthony Towns did block his shot one of those times, but I'm not even concerned with Embiid offensively because I know what he's capable of doing. I know he's definitely once he plays about 5 or 6 games, he's definitely going to be good. He's going to be all right, but it's just the effort out there is just what I'm concerned with. Right? I'm just concerned with the effort. The effort is the only thing I'm concerned with. And I think if he gets in shape and proves or shows us that he's really dedicated to winning, I think that's where his mentality is going to prove that he can definitely help this team win. I heard what Shaq said at the TNT studios, which Shaq has his opinion, which it is true. I agree with Shaq. It's not hate. He's just saying what he sees. So Embiid definitely has to get his definitely got to get things together. But the Sixers start off the third, and the Sixers were only down by 4 points. Right, it was 50. I think it was 54-50, and then those to start off the third. That's where the Sixers got those 4 quick points. I think it was Jalen Brunson turned the ball over. That first possession the Knicks had. He was dribbling up the court. Caleb Martin was on him. He stepped on Caleb Martin's foot, so he tweaked his ankle a little bit. So he had to go to the locker room and go check it out. But I give Jalen Brunson a lot of credit for coming back out to come play because some other players would have said, I mean, I don't have this game. I don't got this going offensively. I'm gonna probably sit this out and wait for the next game. But even though he was struggling, even though he hadn't made a field goal at that point, he still came out to help his team win a basketball game. So I give him credit on that. But the Sixers did tie it up at 54, and that's where the Knicks, on the other hand, that's when they went on their run, and they went on a 12-3 run, which they were getting a lot of opportunities in transition, right? A lot of opportunities in transition, semi-transition, catching the Sixers off guard. In the half court, they were just getting these switches, getting Yabusele out there on the perimeter, getting Embiid out there on the perimeter. Now they were letting Embiid to switch and hard hedge a lot of times, and some of those times he did look pretty fine, moving his feet, trying to keep the defenders in front of him. But some of these guards are just too fast for them, right? Jalen Brunson is too fast for Embiid, and I always want Embiid at the rim. Right, I always want him at the rim because that's where he's dangerous at as a defender, right? Because he's one of the best rim protectors in the league. But on the perimeter, I don't trust him. I don't trust him and Yabusele out there on the perimeter. That's why when people talk about the Yabusele and Embiid lineups, yeah, it does sound good, but defensively, it's just a nightmare because they can get targeted on the perimeter. So that's my only gripe with that. With that combo. That's why I don't want them to start. I don't want to see them in for too many stretches. But offensively, if Yabusele has it going and he's making threes, that can definitely be a good combination. On top of that, Yabusele is somewhat of a good passer. I mean, he was running some high-low actions with Embiid a couple times. That Embiid was also able to create opportunities off of those high-low actions where he would just cause the defense to get into full rotations, and Jared McCain will have a wide open three, or Paul George will have a wide open three. But the Knicks, they go in their 12-3 run. They search for the mismatches, like I said, on the perimeter. They capitalized on it, and then the Sixers, yeah, they did a good job pressuring the Knicks and forcing them into turnovers. But that's where Jared McCain started to take off, and he had this play where he almost dunked on OG Anunoby and Josh Hart together combined, but he couldn't get it. He couldn't get it to go. He got to the free throw line and he made his free throws. Now Jared McCain has not missed a free throw yet as a pro, and I believe if Jared McCain is playing 30 minutes a night, 25 plus minutes a night, he can definitely finish this season and make the at least the second all rookie team. I believe he can. I believe he can definitely make it because he's that good as a basketball player. As a rookie, he's that good offensively. Now, defensively, I think it's going to take him some time, but he has the tools to be a good guard defender, right? Because he's very, very strong, upper body strength, lower body strength. He can definitely move his feet, but he can't move it, to keep up with some of these players that we have in the league. Some of these guys are so fast for him. So, but I believe that if he keeps playing, he's definitely going to get much better as a defender. Shout out to Big Fan Breezy. Appreciate you. And he said I'm bad. Yeah, that Embiid looked terrible. Looked terrible in the first game. Yeah, and PG was locking up Brunson in the first. He was. PG was one of the reasons why Jalen Brunson finished that first half with zero field goals. So he did had him. They had him in a straitjacket. Nah, Thunder got the best perimeter defense in the league. I mean, according to some people, they said the Knicks had the best perimeter defense in the league with OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and I mean, I keep telling people Mikal Bridges is not that good of a defender as y'all try to make him out to be. And y'all can ask Big Fan Breezy. Y'all can ask Breezy about it. He'll tell you Mikal's not a good defender. He's just living off a reputation now because he finished top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year, but he's not that good of a defender. Paul George demolished him in the post, demolished him on the perimeter, demolished him on the glass. Paul George destroyed Mikal Bridges. It was not even close. Now, OG Anunoby's a much better defender. OG Anunoby's much stronger. OG Anunoby's much quicker. So OG definitely does a much better job than Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is skinny, frail. Come on, man. What were you doing? Embiid stands treat him like a family member who has a learning disability. Okay. All right, sporting page. All right, man. You need your legs to get in basketball shape. Embiid's knee injuries and how they're choosing to manage him, that can be something they're trying to find ways for him to get into shape. Yeah, but Bija, my thing is that if you came up with this individualized plan and he misses the first 9 games, and then in the 10th game he comes out and he looks like what he looked like in last season's first game, then what was the point? Like, what was the point? I can even say that last night he was probably worse than what he looked. Now I'm talking about in terms of his condition and his endurance. That's what I'm talking about. He looked worse than he has in previous seasons, right? He looked terrible. He looked so much terrible. So I don't know what this plan. I mean, I just hope it works. Right. I just hope it works. Now, he's not going to play tonight. They came out and said he's not going to play tonight, but I'm gonna get into that in a few minutes here. But let me just cover the fourth quarter and just now the fourth, the Knicks, the fourth, it was the Sixers were still down by 3-4 points. It was still close. It was still a tight game. Funny enough, the Sixers scored 25 points throughout the first 3 quarters. Right, that was surprising. But the Knicks, they started the fourth on a 11-0 run. Right, and that's where the Sixers, they kept having multiple empty possessions in a row. They had like 3 turnovers in a row. Yabusele had like 2 turnovers, 2 offensive fouls in a row. And then the next play, Jared McCain misses a shot. The Knicks are in transition. OG Anunoby gets a dunk. Next possession for the Sixers, Embiid sets a moving screen and then a turnover, and then the Knicks were just capitalizing on these mistakes and on these bad passes. One possession, Paul George was trying to work off an Embiid screen, and then guess what? They end up running into each other. The Knicks are in transition. OG Anunoby gets another dunk, right? So all of these mistakes, helped the Knicks go on their run, and then they ended up putting the game away. Finishing the fourth with 33 points, and then the Sixers at 24. The Sixers, they really couldn't generate any offense in the fourth, and that's where Paul George came in at the 7-minute mark, and then he was turning the ball over. The Sixers were missing shots, and he didn't really have it going, but he made like 2 shots in the fourth, but it was too little, too late at that point. The Knicks already had the game. They had the game won, right? And then that's where the Sixers took all the starters out, and they brought in the bench unit. And it was pretty much game over for the Sixers. But I made a prediction last night, and I did say that the Knicks were going to win this game by 111 to 104. Now 111 to 109. Now 111 to 107. Now the Knicks did get to 111, but the 76ers were not able to crack the century mark. They only had 99 points in this game. And that's how the Knicks won this game. They won this game on the glass. Shout out to Josh Hart. Josh Hart, he finished this game with the triple-double. Most of his passes went to OG Anunoby in transition, and he would just, catch it, just, full court pass, and then OG would just have a breakaway dunk. And, that's how he got most of his assists. And as a rebounder, I mean, Josh Hart can definitely get on the glass. He can definitely rebound with some of the best of them in terms of guard rebounders, right? So he's just a glue guy, right? He just does everything for the Knicks, everything they need. I think he's the heart and soul for this Knicks team. So, shout out to Josh Hart. Mikal Bridges did his thing. He took advantage of some mismatches in the post early on in the second quarter where he'll post up a Jared McCain and then make a turnaround shot over him. Or some of those plays, he'll have Jeff Dowling Jr. on him. And, Mikal's not a strong dude. He's not no physically imposing player, but he definitely has that, height advantage over those guys. So he can definitely put them in the post and, turn around fadeaway shot and just making over those guys. But he played some solid defense in the passing lanes. I think he picked up a few steals in the process, but This game was an OG Anunoby game, right? 24.6, 6 rebounds in. I mean, OG is the guy that you would rather let him beat you than Jalen Brunson beat you, right? I'd rather him score all the points than Jalen Brunson. And most of his points came in transition. And the Sixers have to do a better job with their transition defense. That should be one of the most important things to do. So, yeah, some positives in this game, but a lot of negatives, which the Sixers have to clean it up before it's too late because they're 2-8 to start the season off, likely 2-9 because they might lose this game to the Cavs tonight. So the Sixers have to get everything going, right? They have to get everything going. Embiid has to get it going. Paul George, hopefully, he is off minutes restrictions in the next few games to come, and hopefully the Sixers can get everything. Hopefully they can rack up some wins because it's getting to it's starting to look ugly, right? It's starting to look ugly. Now, somebody did text me and say that the Sixers still have hope because the Lakers 2 seasons ago, they started the season off 2-10, the 2-8 or something like that, but they ended up in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, we all know how they ended up in the Western Conference Finals, right? We're not even going to talk about it, but the Sixers, they're in another conference. This is a different team, so it's always going to be a different situation. So they have to definitely get it going. Now, Kelly Oubre is one of the worst basketball IQs of an NBA player, right? This dude is just, I don't know. He kills the momentum for the Sixers sometimes, and it just pisses me off. It pisses me off. But let me get into these comments right here, and let me just react to the current news for Embiid and Paul George. E. Gibson says, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Sims is getting time because Precious and Mitch are out. He's in his 4th season and he's just a body. Yeah, like I said, he's not polished offensively, but as a hustle guy, he can definitely do his job, right? As a hustle guy, get some rebounds, be a floor runner, rim runner, however you want to call it, get some lobs. He definitely can do it. But as a skill, like he has no skill, and he's just a body. But I think at this point, the Knicks only need that's what they need at this point, right? Especially with Karl-Anthony Towns. But yeah, once those guys come back, once Precious and Mitch, once they come back, I don't think Sims is going to be getting any playing time. So yeah, I agree with you. Who is Hendo? The Thunder made a comeback against them because of their defense and almost won. They didn't lose by 30. You're talking about the Thunder and the Warriors, or Embiid couldn't just play defense, rebound, and move the ball. He had to hold the ball to get his assists, take 11 shots, and be a giant black hole. He's a rich man's Brandon Bass. Sporting Page, I know you'll say that, but if you're not even going to admit that Embiid added additional spacing on the floor, if you're not going to admit the easy opportunities that he created for some of these other guys, then, I mean, I don't know what to say, right? I'm not even going to argue with you on his endurance and the effort that he played with. That was trash. I already criticized him for it. But for the opportunities that he created, if you're not even going to give him credit for that, then, I mean, I don't know what to say. Knights lose their powers when they play in Philly. I don't know what it is. Simply said Lowry. Hey, KB, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I think Kyle Lowry shouldn't be playing 29, 30 minutes. I think he should be playing like less than 20, right? So, yeah, I agree with you, especially with Maxey out. I want to see McCain get a lot of playing time. Shout out to Brian Pumper. Appreciate you. Said him beat his ass. Yeah, he was last night. He was. I ain't even gonna rebuttal that. Nurse sat PG out for the whole start of the 4th quarter. Yeah, I think the plan was to keep him under 30 minutes because he's still under minutes restriction. So I think that's what the plan was. But he saw that it was getting ugly for the Sixers. So that's when he, desperation mode, had to bring in PG. And then it just didn't matter at that point because the Sixers were down like 12, 13 points when he came in, and he wasn't in any rhythm whatsoever. And he missed a couple shots, and that's where Thomas is telling me OG locked him up. Like, bro, stop it, cut it out. OG didn't lock him up. He was out of the rhythm. He had no rhythm whatsoever. But yeah, that's what Nick Nurse did. But um, he says Brunson gets no credit for pulling Chris Paul type moves with no consequences. They don't even call those for Chris Paul no more. Yeah, because Chris Paul's not, sometimes they give you these calls if you're, in your prime superstar, right? Because James Harden don't be getting some of these foul calls that SGA be getting, right? So I think sometimes when you get older, they don't give you these calls anymore. DFJ, I know Embiid is back now, but that offer still stands. We still giving out applications. Let me know. 12-0. Listen, TuneIn Sports. If Paul George was going to play tonight, I had the Sixers winning against y'all. Now you can call me crazy, you can call me whatever, but that's what I was going with. But no PG, no Embiid. I don't know what's going to happen. Right? Y'all might drop 200 points. I don't know. The Sporting Page still believes in Philly getting to the conference finals this season. Them being underdogs and overlooked is beneficial to that group. Okay. I mean, Sporting Page, this is probably one of your best comments. This is probably one of your best comments that I've. Okay, I mean, I'm not. Listen, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you on the Embiid. The effort, the endurance. Like, I'm not even going to argue that. But him being out there on the floor, you saw the looks that these guys were getting. Right? It's not just any coincidence that Embiid's first game, that's when Paul George starts going off. Right? So with that, I'm not, the effort I'm not going to argue with you against, but him creating looks for other teams and, using his gravity. Now, the flopping, the foul baiting, I don't like it, right? I don't like it. That it hurts us sometimes because when he foul baits and doesn't get the calls, the other team goes in transition and they score, 2 quick points, 3 quick points. So I think that, he has to stop trying to foul bait, but, you hard on Mikal Bridges. Pause. He's good. Come on, give him a break. In today's game, it's very difficult to play defense. Yeah, I agree, but these Knicks fans just telling that he's just this lockdown defender, and he's not. Right? He's just not. He just isn't. So, but I mean, I don't hate on Mikal Bridges. I mean, he's a good player. Good player. Very, very durable. Hasn't missed a game since high school. So, I mean, I give him his props. But as a defender, nah. On a scale of 1 to 10, I probably give him a 4 as a defender. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. On little guards, yeah, he can probably limit them on little guards like a Darius Garland, a Trae Young. He can definitely do it. But guys his size, he ain't doing shit with them. Guys 6'7" and 6'8", he's not locking nobody up. Drop the link. Oh yeah, I got you, BJ. Yeah, right there. Yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Smash the like button if y'all haven't. So yeah, the Sixers, they let an easy opportunity slip by digging themselves a hole in that fourth. Right. That's where the game got away from them in the fourth. But I think the Sixers can definitely learn from this. Right. Late game executions, that should absolutely matter to this team. And Nick Nurse has to have his rotations much better. Now, it was better in this Knicks game, right? We didn't see a 3-guard lineup along with a small ball center. We didn't see that, right? So we can definitely give Nick Nurse credit on that on that part. But in terms of some of these guys that he loves to play, the Kyle Lowrys, and now he stopped playing Eric Gordon, so we can't, that's a plus for him. But Kyle Lowry should be getting limited minutes, right? He shouldn't be playing all these minutes. And Andre Drummond looks like, I don't know, man. Andre Drummond is just terrible. Andre Drummond has been terrible. I can't even believe it, bro. I initially thought Nurse was a good hire. How much do you think the 2-8 start is injuries, or does Nurse deserve some accountability? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, right? Some of his rotations have been in question. Some of those games that we lost, he didn't even play or try Jared McCain, which the Sixers needed. The Sixers need guard play, but him sticking with Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, and them stinking up the joint. That we can definitely blame him on that, right? In addition to him playing 3 guard lineups and then the Sixers getting killed on the glass, we can blame him for that, right? But the Sixers also injuries. I mean, Maxey being out, George being out, and Embiid being out. That definitely. I think if they started off and played all those games, the Sixers are not 2-8 to start the season. They're just not. They're just not. Sporting Page says the Cavs are on the run. Is it like the Hawks 60-win team that got swept by LeBron, or are they the real deal? Um, yeah, I think it's more like the Hawks, but this Cavs team is not getting to the conference finals. It ends in the second round. It ends when they have to see Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. It ends when they have to see the Boston Celtics. So yeah, that's how I put it. Andre, it's not better. He played Doughton and Lowry too much. But Brian, I mean, I'm not even worried with the what you call it with the Doughton, because Jeff Doughton, I mean, y'all call him NASCAR. I don't know why, but Jeff Doughton is much better. I think he gives you more than a Kyle Lowry, right? Because Kyle Lowry's not pushing the break. He's not getting us easy shots in transition, and defensively, it's just like he can't move as quickly anymore. So it's just easy for the other team to go at him. But with Jeff Doughton, I mean, if he's not playing Jeff Doughton and Lowry, like who else is he going to play? Because I don't want to see Reggie Jackson on the floor. Reggie Jackson is cooked. Reggie Jackson is cooked at this point. The Sixers need to they should just waive him, because you're not going to get anybody to trade for him, right? You should just waive him. Just take that what you call it. Just take that loss and just waive him at this point. But I would rather him play Jared McCain, right? You should definitely play Jared McCain. Kelly Oubre 2 guard, which I mean I don't like, but the Sixers have no choice at this point. So Jared McCain, Kelly Oubre, and then off the bench, I think you can definitely share the minutes. You said cut Reggie and sign Markelle Fultz. I'm not even mad at that. Yeah, I'll definitely take that. Right, I'll definitely take that. Markelle could definitely, he could probably help. But Reggie Jackson, I don't want to see Reggie Jackson on the floor. So I thought that's what you was trying to say. But I'm glad you just cleared that up. Cut Reggie Jackson, sign Markelle. Okay, so yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'll go with that. I'm not saying Jeff Down is some good guy. I mean, he's on a 2-way contract for a reason. But yeah, all those Kyle Lowry minutes, 30 minutes, I just don't want to see it. Now I want to see it. BJ, let me just read this last comment and I'll let you go. Tuna Sports says Cavs on a different speed than that Hawks team. History will say the Cavs will be in the Eastern Conference Finals or even the finals, but we'll see. I mean, just because you're on a 12 or 13 game win streak doesn't mean you're gonna make it to the conference finals. So, but what's good? What's good, BJ? What's good? Pull up basketball podcast.
Yo, what's up? Hey, Andre, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right, so the whole comment I made with the leg. So what Embiid, you got to think he's been having these knee injuries, for quite some time. So you got to look at it like, okay, you can only get in shape by what? Using your legs.
Right.
So what does that usually entail? What do you have to usually do to get in shape?
Run.
You got to run, you got to sprint, you got to do defensive slides, you got to do a lot of quick movements on the court. Like it's a lot of strain on your lower extremities. So if this guy's coming in and out of seasons with knee injuries over and over and over, it's like, okay, well, he'll get in shape, or he lost a lot of weight this offseason. I don't know if you saw that. He lost a lot of weight. So he's obviously been doing some type of, conditioning. But when you start having these knee issues and these knee problems and this knee management, you gotta dial it back because you don't want to set yourself up to get another injury.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like the Sixers. I'm just kind of like looking from the outside in as a hooper. Like you gotta think they gotta find a way to get him to be able to still stay in condition while keeping him healthy. Because if he gets hurt because he's overworking his body, what's the first part of your body usually tends to go when you're like um, you're fatigued or you're not in shape? What's the first part of your body that tends to go?
Wait, say it again. I didn't hear the first part.
So when you dealing with a person who is fatigued or doesn't, is not in basketball shape, what part of his body is usually affected the worst or affected the most?
The lower extremities.
Exactly. So it's legs. So my point is that people say he needs to be in shape, he needs to be in shape, he needs to be in shape. Well, how much stuff can you really do without your legs? Like if he's constantly having to deal with knee issues over and over, then how is he gonna get in shape or stay in shape for a long period of time?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But BJ, according to the Sixers, they said he was fine. Right? They said he suffered no setbacks at the Olympics. He had no setbacks, and he is going through this quote unquote individualized plan that we have for him. So within this individualized plan, I'm guessing that there's some sort of, strength and conditioning work that he's doing. There's some sort of endurance work that he's doing. So I expected him to come into this game in much better shape than he actually was in, right? Because he looked like he always does the first game of the season. There was nothing different. So that's why I'm just questioning this individualized plan that they have for me. Like, is this really going to work for him?
I mean, he lost a lot of weight this offseason. I know
That's
that
true.
for a fact. So it's like you gotta think it's one thing for you to look good, it's another thing for you to actually display on the court. I mean, just because you look good or you've been doing some workouts here and there, have you really got yourself in basketball shape? And like people who are basketball players know what I'm talking about. Like when you go into a game, are you prepared to play a 48-minute basketball professional game? Are you prepared to get up and down the floor at a high level? Get to one spot to another at a high level. Like those first 3 minutes, I can tell he was out of shape, but as the game started going a little bit more, I started seeing him catch his wind a little bit in that second half. But them
Right.
first 3 minutes, he was gassed. I mean, like you said, he went to that locker room because not because his knee was bothering him, it was because his ass was gassed. Now, here's the thing. Here's the question. Him saying if he might not play back to backs for a period of time, which I think he will. I think he said he was trolling. But in order for him to get in shape, he's gonna have to play basketball. He's gonna have to get on the court. He's gonna have to just go through through it. Like PG went through it for the first few games, and you saw last night he was cooking. But the difference is between PG and MB, like PG's always in shape. No matter if he's rusty or if he's missing shots, he's always in shape. And
Right.
he's a player that plays both ways of the ball, so he has even more responsibility. So, like, pretty much with Embiid, what I'm saying is I think the Sixers are trying to find a way to get a counterbalance between keeping him in shape and not getting him hurt and keep him in shape enough, like, where he's actually able to perform on the court. But, I mean, it's more important for him to be healthy than to him just get out, out there on the court, putting himself through all these rigorous amount of conditioning shit where he's going to possibly, risk injury again.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I question is it going to work? Because they've tried almost everything, and he always gets hurt at the end, right? So that's the only thing I'm questioning, and along with his endurance. But I mean, I agree with you. You made some solid points. I mean, I respect your perspective because you actually played. You know what it takes to go out there and play. So I definitely agree with everything you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, I mean, just look at what he's basically how his body looks like. It's not like he's not just sitting around not doing nothing. I mean, people saying, well, he's just sitting around or not taking it. That's not what it is. That's not the case. I mean, you saw him, even though people want to criticize him for going to the Olympics, he went out there and played in the Olympics. You saw how he lost a lot of weight this off season. So he's not just sitting around doing nothing. He's really just doing what he can to stay in shape. Like, it's like, okay, well, my knee needs to be 100%. I can't get in shape if I'm not able to use my legs. And when I get out there, I'm finally, able to actually get out there and play physically. As of last night, it's going to be a process before I start catching my wind. But here's the key about Embiid. From what I saw last night, I don't think it's going to take as long as people think. If they allow him to continuously play games, even I'd rather him play more games and just play less minutes, be on this minutes restriction for a period of time than for him just to miss a full entire game because he's never going to get in shape by doing like that. So
Right, right,
give him 25. That's why I wasn't too worried about this whole PG, missing with this minutes restriction because I know what they were trying to do. They're like saying, okay, you just coming back off of this. Same thing with him. He had the left hyperextension, so he's just coming back on the court. You can't just throw him out there for about 35, 40 minutes. They're slowly ramping him up. And as you saw last night against a very, very, gritty New York team, I mean, he was doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do on the court.
right.
So that's what it's a long game for Philly. It's not a short game. It's going to be a bumpy road, but they're 2-8, and from what I'm seeing on the Eastern Conference side, there's not too many teams that are just full ahead. Like teams are going to drop. Teams are going to drop out that play-in. Teams are going to drop out that playoff sequence in the East. So you don't need to worry about they got to win games, all these games now. I mean, it's only 10 games in. They got time. They're going to click around probably towards the mid to end December. I think that's when they're going to start clicking.
So you think it's gonna be like how long you think it's gonna take Embiid to like get back to his usual self? Because I felt like it's gonna take about 6 or 7 games, and then we start seeing the MVP as Joel
Late
Embiid.
late November, early December.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Yeah, I think the same thing. Yeah, I mean, in the Eastern Conference, like you just said, I don't really have any because it's only two teams that's really separated themselves from the rest of the teams, and that's Cleveland, that's Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Sixers can put, I mean, the Sixers are only like what 3 games out the third seed. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in this stretch, I can see them picking up some wins and getting up in the standings. But as a team, I think we have to see like Tyrese Maxey come back and Joel Embiid playing and Paul George playing and see how this thing can go. Because if these three are playing, I don't see how this Sixer team is not a top 3 seed. So I'm not even worried about the seeding. One of my only worries is about Joel Embiid not being in shape. But also, you make a great point. I mean, there's so much that he could do with trying to get in shape. Because he has to run, do these cuts, these defensive drills, shell drills, closeout drills, what have you. So it's just gonna take him some time. So I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, I mean they came into. I mean, if you listen to what Embiid said, in that interview, he gets called out that reporter Marcus Hayes. He also
Mm-hmm.
said about how some reporter asked like, "How's the progress going? Is it with his injury?" And he said mainly it's about mental and him trusting it, which he said he was actually able to do. But everything's a process, and he understood like they want to have a successful long season. They don't want to put him out there right now, have him play all these minutes, and he's not physically capable and ready to do it right now. That's why I don't think it's a bad idea to ship them both out. Well, you could have probably played PG, but based off of last night's game and Maxey being out, you're not at full strength anyway. So it's like it's gonna be a tough game for y'all to win. So it's just, might as well just get them both out at the same time. Let them come back the next game and then play 2 games in a row, 3 games, and slowly build up that process, which is gonna take a couple of weeks. And then y'all still are hitting y'all stride with Maxey coming back around that time as well. Because he's 24, so it's not going. I mean, he's ready to go, like ready to play out the gate. Embiid and PG are a little older, so you got to slowly bring them back on the court.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Tonight's game, yeah, it's definitely gonna be difficult. I mean, the Cavs are rolling 12-0. There's probably a scheduled loss, like how they, like how Doc Rivers be saying, a scheduled loss. So, I don't see the Sixers winning anyway. But I just want to see these guys on the court. I mean, it's not no surprise that Paul George finally got into a rhythm with Embiid out there on the floor. So I think Embiid did create a lot of some easy looks for him, and Paul George also made shots as well, got to his spots, and the 3-pointer was he just felt it out there from the 3-point line.
Yeah, man.
Smooth
Like
game.
one of them,
Yeah.
you one of them players. Like he's one of them type of people, like players. When he gets hot, it's really nothing much you can do. Like when he's hot, a shooter or a player is hot like that. Like you can't really do much. Like, but the thing about the Clippers or the Sixers is y'all whole thing should be building good habits and Nick Nurse finding his damn rotations because yeah, you might lose tonight, but you got some things that you can work with Jared McCain and how he's been playing. That's the second game he played the way he did. Is Nick Nurse gonna finally start looking to put him over Kyle Lowry? Because I just don't see what does Kyle Lowry bring where he needs to be on the court for that period of time. Even if you're not going to start McCain, can you give him more minutes than Lowry?
Right. Right. And I mean, I believe that Jared McCain is earning Nick Nurse's trust, game by game. So I don't see how this next game, I don't see how Kyle Lowry should play more minutes than Jared McCain because he's absolutely proven to you that he can actually go out there and have a huge impact on this team, offensively, defensively. Like he's just like you said, he's just fearless, relentless, going to keep going at you. And even if he misses shots, he's not discouraged. He's still gonna get them up and try to impact the team.
Yeah, that's what you want in a rookie. He's a rookie, and it's them guys. See, I'm looking at the game yesterday and watching the game, and it's like those guys need a player like him because y'all don't have a lot of outside shooting. So you
Right.
got a guy in McCain who can knock shots down. That's gonna help space the floor for Embiid and PG to work and operate. But if you got Kelly Oubre clanking, Caleb Martin clanking, you know what I'm saying? You got what's that dude? The other young guy, Downing.
Dalton Jr. Yep.
He's not much of a 3-point. He can slash, but he's not a 3-point. Like the more spacing, the better. This kid McCain can space and he can get to the basket. So
Right.
it's like, why would you keep Lowry on the court where his shot is not falling? He can't create for his teammates. He can't stay in front. I mean, what's the point of having him on the court?
What's the point? That's what we're trying to figure out. Why Nurse playing him all these minutes?
Because he's quote unquote, he knows the playbook. I mean, shit, you should be able to teach this kid the playbook.
Teach the kids the playbooks. Yeah.
But when you have you have a guy like him who can create instant offense by himself, you don't really need to set up plays. Like you can just what they call like give him the ball and let him create his own offense.
Right. Right. I agree. And Reggie Jackson, I don't even want to see him anymore. He should probably just do the Shmurda dance on the Sixers bench. I don't even want to see him anymore.
Man, that guy needs to be him, Eric Gordon, and Kyle Lowry needs to be a trio on the bench together, cheering on and mentoring those young guys. That's all they need to be doing. They don't need to be doing shit else because they don't bring nothing to the table. Y'all the opportunity to win. To be honest with you, y'all could have won yesterday. But
Right.
I was watching a lot of possessions where Lowry was clanking threes, where they all could have, took a little bit of a run and took some of that load off of PG and McCain. McCain was the instant offense that kept y'all in. See, anytime he gets into the game, that's the only time in the game I say, okay, this guy's gonna get some offense in. But the other guys, they just whatever reason they can't score. Caleb Martin played better offensively, but even I don't trust him to give me like a consistent 15 points per game or somewhere
Right.
around there. This kid McCain, I can trust him to give me somewhere between 12 and 15 points a game.
Right. Right. That's true. I mean, the thing with Caleb, I mean, the defense is there, but the offense, that's where the inconsistency is. And that's where you can't really depend on him. But Jared McCain, he's shown you that he can definitely he can get it out the mud. He can get it out the mud.
Yeah, people think he's, trying to, stereotype him because he paint his nails and he has curly hair and he's light skinned. He has like a non-aggressive look on his face. He's always smiling and everything. But when he's all on the court, I mean, all that shit goes out the window. I'm seeing this
Right.
guy going to the basket. I'm seeing him, shooting the ball every time he touch shooting with confidence. Try to dunk on who they try to dunk on yesterday.
Ananobi.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Put
I
that
didn't even
down
know he
for
had
us.
that in him. I thought he was just a 3-point shooter. He can
Yeah,
do
because
more
you
than
thought
just
he
shoot
was
threes.
you thought he didn't have no dog in him.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, he proving us wrong. He proving us wrong. And I mean, if he's playing like 30 minutes a night, like getting like 25 plus minutes a night, I can see him definitely making an all rookie team.
But you gotta remember too something we not highlighting. Where do you go to college at?
He went to Duke.
Right. So Duke, you gotta be what to go to Duke?
You gotta be nice to go over there, bro.
You gotta be smart.
You gotta be smart, right?
You gotta
You
have
gotta
a
be
high
smart,
IQ. So this kid, it's not a coincidence. He comes in the NBA ready. He ain't really turned the rock over. He's playing under control. Right. So it's like it makes all the sense in the world why he's not looking rattled out there.
right? Right.
He knows how to play basketball.
And one thing that really impressed me the most, like his first time playing with Embiid, and he got instant chemistry with them. I don't know if you noticed it, but he was working off the screens. You know,
Hell yeah, I noticed it. I noticed it
right?
from the jump. It's like it makes it. That's why I'm saying them players, Embiid and PG, they know they need to have a guy like. To be honest with you, I ain't saying he's Maxey because he's not Maxey, but with
Mhm.
the development and the reps and him getting the chance to play, I mean, he can easily be the guy off the bench and be sometimes certain games that he takes over. Like he already did against Charlotte. He
Right.
took over that game in the fourth quarter.
Hmm.
And then last night, he didn't. It wasn't like a one hit wonder game. He came in against New York in a playing game, and he showed himself again.
Right.
So
Give
this
him.
ain't no fluke.
Hmm. Yeah, especially against the Knicks, it ain't no fluke. Right. Right. Hey, Brian Pumper says McCain is Norman Powell 2.0. You believe so?
Um, maybe with the volume of shots. I mean, what is he averaging? What did McCain have? He had 27 against Charlotte. What do you have in the second game? 22.
22, 23. Yeah, 23 points off the
Yeah.
bench.
How much did he shoot from the field?
7 for 16.
So you're a little under 50%.
Right.
Okay, so his efficiency ain't there. He's not Norman Powell 2.0. Now Norm's
Not
a
yet. Yeah. Yeah.
Norm's a vet. Like he's a 8-9 year vet. Like this kid is, but
Right.
that's a
He's
ceiling. Like
experienced.
his ceiling is definitely up there. If he could, and he seemed like he's humble enough to want to be coached. So
Right.
he can't do nothing but get better. But they need to at least let like Nurse's ass has got to put him in the rotation. You can't keep putting in Lowry over this kid and expect him to grow. If Lowry was a real vet, which I know he is, he would step aside and said, "We gotta develop this kid. I have my championship. We had our time. Let's develop this kid to help us, reach our goal."
Yeah. hmm Sporting Page says, but he played over 30 minutes in those games, so he's getting to play. Yeah, Sporting Page. That's why I said that I think he's starting to earn the trust of Nick Nurse. That's why Nick Nurse is giving him these minutes.
Okay, but what did it take for him to even get these minutes though? Like you
Tyrese
said,
Maxey, you had to,
there you
you know,
go. There you go. So would you have been playing him if Maxey? That's why I said it was a blessing, and I don't mean this in a. I don't want nobody to get hurt. It was a blessing in disguise. Maxey got hurt. All
right,
Sixer Nation was crying about Maxey getting. I'm saying, calm down. Maxey, Maxey, of course, is going to be the guy when Embiid leaves. It's going to take the keys, but y'all still should be able to win games with Embiid and PG.
right.
Y'all still should be able to. I mean, those are y'all. You know how I feel. I feel like those are the best two players. I think Maxey is a great offensive weapon, great offensive talent, but y'all went 1-4 with him this year as a guy by himself. Y'all weren't winning games, and if you're really a first option, you should be able to be a head your head above water until the main guy gets back. So because you couldn't do that, and then last year you went 14-20 without Joel Embiid in the lineup as a number one option, because you can't hold the fort down, you can't be a number one option.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to disagree with that. I don't see Maxey as a number one. Nah, hell no. Yeah. Brian Pumper says, I'm saying score like, oh, he's talking about McCain coming off the bench and being a microwave scorer like Norman Powell.
Oh yeah, he's definitely that. He's definitely a microwave scorer.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But I mean, as a better as an individual player, I don't think he's just like Norm because Norm is more experienced. He's a vet, and Norm is more relentless than McCain is. Even though McCain he can attack you like multiple ways, but Norman Powell's just a different monster.
Norman Powell's a bigger, better version.
Right.
He's more athletic. Um, I won't say his jumper is better. I mean, even though he's shooting the ball the way he shoot, I think McCain's a better shooter. But Norman can do everything else on the court, and he draws fouls. So that's another thing. He's just more polished.
Yeah. 30 plus minutes in the last 3 games. Nick Nurse is playing him. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Sporting Page. He says, but it was a blessing in disguise because now they know McCain is solidified in the lineup or in the rotations. Yeah. Brian Pumper says, I'm not too scared of the Knicks. That was a tight game till Cat headbutted and beat an Oubre. Yeah, that was terrible. I don't know how they
Shouldn't
overturned that call. That was
shouldn't be
terrible.
scared of the Knicks. Period. I mean, the Knicks had their full team. They're missing Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet. I mean,
Yeah.
them guys. I mean, Robinson is a piece, but he ain't Tyrese Maxey. I mean, you beat him. To be honest with you, you beat him last year. If Embiid was on one leg and you had Maxey drop, I think he averaged 27 that series on that
Nah,
all.
he averaged 30.
Okay, so that's even worse. He averaged 30 against that prime Knicks defense, which fell off. People want to overrate the Knicks defense. Their defense, they don't have an elite defense no more. They really didn't have an elite defense last year. It was a great defense. It wasn't elite. Like if you're
I
as
I agree.
if you're depending on motherfucking OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges to stop all stars like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Paul George, good luck. It's gonna be a long night because, as you saw last night, um, Paul George did what the fuck he wants to OG Anunoby,
Right.
and Mikal Bridges, and he's on minutes restriction. I told you, Andre, you need to start poking your chest out with these haters, because that dude's on minutes restriction and he still fucked up OG Anunoby, play after play. So if you put Mikal Bridges on him, who's a worse defender, in my personal opinion, OG's a good defender. Don't get it twisted, but he's not. He's not. He's not like a prime Ron Artest. He's not like prime Kawhi Leonard. He's not even a prime Paul George. Like these guys made all defensive teams. That's when
Right.
you know you're a prime defender.
Mm-hmm.
OG Anunoby ain't never made no all defensive team.
He
If
hasn't?
somebody can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think he has. I think he has.
What
If he
year?
hasn't, then I'm gonna look it up. I believe he did because I know he led the league in steals. Sometimes you make the defensive team if you.
Well, shit, Allen Iverson needs to be on the all defensive team because he did that multiple times. SGA needs to be on the all defensive team.
Yeah, he made it in 2023. He made second team though.
Second team, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only? That's only one?
That's the only one.
Okay. Well, he's still not. He's not on the same level of those guys I named, but that's why you need defenders like that to be able to stop stars. And the Knicks, I've said it before, bunch of good players, no star. Karl-Anthony Towns, borderline all-star. But in the playoffs, he's not a playoff riser. He drifts in the playoffs. And then you got Jalen Brunson, who has a heart of a star. I don't know if he has the ability of one though. Like I was watching last night's game when PG was guarding Jalen Brunson that first quarter, completely locked his ass up.
Yeah, that first quarter was brutal for him. I think he struggles. He struggles with length and athletic guys sometimes.
Yeah, Caleb Martin. That's why when Caleb Martin guarded Jalen Brunson, he started finding more spots. He was inefficient, but when you put length on him, like say you put maybe a Jaylen Brown on him.
Oh yeah, he locked up.
Jalen Brunson ain't doing shit.
He locked up.
He is getting locked up. Like he is getting locked the fuck up.
He done.
But because
It's
people love
literally game. It's literally game over if Drew Holiday switches and gets on that helmet.
if Jalen Brunson had to deal with Jaylen Brown in the entire series, that's going to be hell on wheels for him because you're not going to shoot over him. You're not posting him up. You're not out quicking him. The only thing you can do is try to draw them fouls and be crafty, but that's only going to go so far in a playoff series.
I mean, he be getting those calls though.
Hey, he has great footwork.
Right.
I enjoy watching him as an undersized guard to be able to score his angles and how tight he is and he gets some players' chests and stuff like that when he bumps them. I enjoy watching that, but when you deal with a guy who's lengthy and is quicker than you and more athletic, I mean, how are you gonna really get your shit off?
Right. Right. All right. Sporting Page says, "Yeah, this person on the microphone with you is speaking facts about Maxey. Excellent stuff. When you said Maxey, not no first option.
He's not even a second option
He's
on
not,
the championship team, man. He's a third.
well, you
That's
don't
why I
think he
was
can be a second option?
okay. So is he better than Kyrie Irving?
Nah, I ain't gonna go that far. Nope.
Is he better than Jaylen Brown?
Nope.
Is he better than
Not yet.
Devin Booker?
Nope.
Is he better than uh? Is he better than Anthony Edwards?
Nah. Anthony Edwards is the first option, right?
Okay, he could be a first option. Is he better than De'Aaron Fox?
De'Aaron Fox is the first option.
Well, him and DeMontis, they switch off.
They switch off.
Is he better than Anthony Davis?
Come on.
But see, this is when people say he's a second option, though. People say he's a second option, but like, how is he a second option when he just had his breakout party last year? Like, I don't understand. Like,
But BJ, he gave you 30 in the playoffs, so against the Knicks, great defensive unit.
Okay, what else has he done?
That was his breakout playoff series or playoff performance.
So one round is what qualifies you to be a second option.
But that's his only chance he had to be a second option.
Exactly. So he needs more notches under his belt to reach that. So I don't. And another thing, why would you make him a second option as a undersized point guard who, yes, he can score, but I've seen Maxey at times. He doesn't have a deep enough bag where, you know, at least from what I've seen, I think you would be better off Paul George being your second option because he can create more offense in the east. Like he's a 6'9" wing. He can do more on the court. He can score in more ways than Maxey can score.
Hey BJ, you gonna hurt some of these Sixer fans. You gonna hurt their feelings, man.
Well, I mean, it is nothing personal to me. I like Maxey. He went to school where I went to high school out in Dallas. He went to South Garland High School. I know
Oh,
Maxey
for
very.
real?
Yeah, I went to high school in Dallas. He went to South Garland. I went to Louisville, so I know him very well. It's some of his people, but I'm just being honest, bro. He's always been a one-way player. Like if you're banking on Maxey to be the first or second option, you're not going to you're not going to just win off of simply that. You're going to need a lot more around him to pull that off. If you take the franchise away from Embiid and give it to Maxey, Sixers are not going anywhere.
Yeah, that I agree with. I'm not even gonna argue that. But the sec so I mean the Sixer fans, they're going off Maxey's, breakout party last season against the Knicks, right? Him being the second option, being this perimeter player, right? That Joel Embiid. I don't think in the Embiid era, he's never had a teammate who's shown you that he can average 30 in the playoffs. So that's what Sixer fans are going off of to say that he's the second option on this team, and PG's the third option. That's what the consensus Sixer fans will tell you.
Okay, so if you're a second option, a real second option, you should have your team to be able to lead. You should be able to lead your team and pick up the slack when your first option is out. So Maxey again, his record without Embiid was 14-20. He was an
Yeah,
all-star caliber player last year, right?
right.
So if you're that, how do you have a losing record at your first option?
Hey, that's a great question. That is a great question.
But on the contrast, Paul George has been years without Kawhi Leonard, especially last year, and I watched it, head and foot. We were 7-3 with him leading the team with Kawhi out. That's what a
Mhm.
second option is supposed to be able to do. You're supposed to hold on and pick it up until the first option comes back.
Keep a
So
team's head above water.
yeah, exactly. You don't call me a second option because I had a great playoff series for the first time.
Hey, great points, man. Great points. Sporting Page says McCain is 19 for 19 from the free throw line in his young career thus far. Yeah, he hasn't missed a free throw so far. 100%. Shout out to him. I agree. This season, that's from E. Gibson. I agree. This season, Knicks defense and identity seems different than the last several seasons. Yeah, they lost a couple players, and this season, they're playing a little bit. They're acting a little bit complacent, like they know everything in the world, and the identity is not what it was last season. Brian Pumper says Jalen Brunson's vibe is different. Dante trade killed the Knicks. Yeah, I think BJ, you said the same thing, right? I think you said the same thing. As good as McHale and OG are, Paul George is on another level. Of course, he's older now. PG is a future Hall of Famer, first ballot. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be first ballot, but he definitely is a Hall of Famer. There's levels to the game. He did once in 2020. He did it once in 2023. BJ, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. My bad. My phone cut out.
Oh, you
What
good?
you
You
saying?
good? Nah, somebody did say that the Knicks trade and Dante DiVincenzo, it really killed their identity. You believe? I think you said something like that in the past.
Yeah, man, they lost. They lost their defensive identity, man, when they traded for Cat. Not even DiVincenzo. They lost Randall and they lost DiVincenzo. Now that you lost two tough, gritty guys like that, you got to depend on Mikal Bridges, who's not really even a tough guy. He's not even a. He's a tough guy in terms of playing a lot of games, but his mentality. I mean, he's very very laid back. So you don't have
Right.
that same attitude that you did last year. Anunoby got it, but he's just more quiet with it. He's
Mm-hmm.
quiet with this tenaciousness. He's not going to talk. He's not going to bark. He's not going to get in your face. He's not going to do none of that. And then you add a Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. You damn sure know he ain't he ain't nothing about none of that. So you don't have really no. Who do you have? Josh Hart is pretty much the only guy you can say plays with that chip on his shoulder. That's going to talk. That's going to chirp. That's going to get things a little bit chippy. You pretty much took away your defense and replaced it with offense.
Offense.
That
Right.
that's where I said I didn't know who won that trade between the Knicks and the Timberwolves, because I mean the Timberwolves have a better record than the Knicks right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Timberwolves needed a guy like Randall because you needed some more toughness on that team. I think yes, Cat spreads the floor. Yes, he can shoot the three. Yes, he can do all those things, but they were missing Cat during the season last year, and they still didn't miss a beat. They were still the number 3 seed. So
Right.
was he really the X factor, or was it always Anthony Edwards? He just needs to build a team around him.
Yeah, I agree. Sporting Page says Paul George would have had a championship in 2021 if Kawhi didn't get hurt. He plays winning basketball as a second or third guy. Yeah, I agree with that. He definitely
Not
would
just
have
a
won a
second
championship.
and third guy. He's been the first guy. Like, I mean, you can put. See, that's why I told you, bro. You have to make sure y'all treat him right. Don't be like us. Don't be like these dumbass Clipper fans who sit up here bitching and crying and complaining because he can't carry two jobs at once because our star player can't stay on the court for 4 fucking straight years, and then he's supposed to carry that weight over and over and over. I said, if you put him in a position, or you can plug him in anywhere. He can be the first option, be your number one like he did last night. He can be your number two and let Maxey or be your number two and let Embiid do his thing, or Maxey do his thing and just focus on defense and stuff. Or he could be your number 3 option because of his mentality, where he's not really a quote unquote confrontational dude. Like, he's gonna let other players get their shit off.
Right.
Like, so you can put him anywhere on the court and he can actually do what you ask him to do. Like, he wants to be coached. Like, this whole defense fell off. His whole defense, I don't see where that happened. I didn't see that last night. I saw him getting all in Jalen Brunson's grill, his shit, pressuring him up at the half court line. Jalen Brunson not even want to put the ball on the floor, passing it off and shit. But he's supposed to be such a great offensive player. And get the fuck out of here.
Man. Shout out to Brian Popper for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. He says, I see what Nick Nurse wants to do, but we too small. He wants to trap the pick and roll, but 2 defensive rotations later gets you a Kyle Lowry on a power forward matchup, which it is so terrible. We saw that a lot in the first game against the Bucks, where Maxey would be on Giannis trying to stop him, or Lowry tried to be on Giannis and he tried to stop him, and it's just they just take advantage of the mismatch every single time. But I got Kobe Bryant film room in the building. What's good? What's good, KB?
First of all, I want to say what's up to the Pull Up Podcast. What up, Pull Up Podcast? This is Jolie the Beat. And I just want to talk to DFJ and say, DFJ, forget you. And forget you, DFJ. I tell you back to back, never.
What's
You
up,
for
And I
sure,
KB?
just want
man.
to say, I whoop his ass because he was in my face and I told him, I said, you think you could threaten Jolie Beat? You think you could whoop my ass? Not here, not in the Sixers jersey. Nowhere. Not even in Cameroon.
Man, come on, man. That's racist, bro.
Hey, what's good, bro? I figure I dropped by and say what up to y'all, man.
What's
What's
up,
good? What's
KB?
good?
What's good, bro?
I like messing with DFJ, man. DFJ loves the Sixers, man.
Yeah, man.
Man,
What's your
hometown
thoughts on
team, man. What's your thoughts, bro? What's your thoughts?
Man, Joel Embiid look like a fat lady out there. But he just it's gonna take him some time, man. It's gonna take him some time. He missed a lot of training camp and things like that. I give him maybe 2 3 weeks to find his rhythm, to truly find his rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll see what you guys are when you're healthy. I think Paul George looked decent last night.
Decent.
Yeah, he was good.
I thought he was a lot better than decent.
He was good.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Yeah, he
I
was
agree,
good.
but I mean, I just want Embiid to be in much better shape. That's all I hope for. Because if he's
Yeah.
in shape, yeah, go ahead. My fault.
No, no, you good. But I was gonna say if he looked like that, he ain't the way he looked, bro. Then it ain't gonna work. But if he can find his rhythm, get in better shape, he'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree. I
And he
and
agree.
knows how to play the game.
see the thing
Hmm.
about Embiid too last night, even though he just came in on the court, you see how the defense has to double and collapse on him, and it
Right.
creates so much spacing for everyone else. So that's a decoy, but even him being a decoy changes the defense's whole dynamic. They have to collapse on him. So once he finally is able to be comfortable being in the attack mode, and Maxey's on the court and PG's on the court, man.
They're gonna be tough to stop. But y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I just wanted to say what's up, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Salute, brother.
Salute, salute,
All
salute.
right, Joe. All right.
All right, peace out.
Yeah, peace. Yeah. Sporting Page says being a second option on a championship team is a tough task. Maxey has a lot of work to do to even be in that conversation. That's true, but BJ, I'm gonna ask you this question: is Maxey better than Jamal Murray?
Nah, he ain't. What is he proven to be better than Jamal Murray?
He made the All Star team, something that Murray never did. I mean,
Okay, so Jamal Murray's his playoff performances. So he talk
yeah,
about going back to the bubble, that 40-point game performance against Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell is that's a real second option. Now he's a second option. They got him as a first option right now. I don't think Mitchell's a first option. Not on the championship team.
oh wow. Hey,
Not on the championship.
Tuna Sports, you heard that?
And I love Donovan Mitchell. I love Donovan Mitchell, but I don't put him in the
Yeah,
same conversation. And he might prove. You know what? He might prove me wrong this year. But I just always have seen him losing to a guy who just a little better than him. Like
right.
you go back to his early days against James Harden in Houston, or was it Luka Doncic in Dallas, or he lost to Jalen Brunson, who's not even a first option in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? You lose to, I mean, last year he didn't play, but I mean, he has to prove to me that he can be a first option on a championship team. His ass has been getting put out in the second round. And he's another one. He gets a pass because he's never really at the big dance. But I've been watching him for years. Like he's in that Devin Booker, uh, Jalen Brown, Paul George type of category.
As players or
Yeah, that group, that second option,
second op? Okay.
sometimes first option if need to category. He's not a guy you can say, okay, for the entire season and in the postseason I can, lead him like, like a Jokic or like a Giannis or those type of players, those ilka players. Jason Tatum.
Hmm. Damn. Maxey don't get the whistle. The only thing wrong with his offensive game. That is true. He doesn't get the benefit of the whistle like some of these other players. That's definitely true. Sporting Page says Paul George is better than Tyrese Maxey at everything on the court. I respect Maxey. He's good.
Yeah. Why would you
Man,
put a Why would you
y'all,
put a
y'all
guy?
gonna hurt these Sixer fans, man. I'm telling you, y'all gonna hurt these Sixer fans.
But be honest, Andre. Who does more on the court?
Oh, absolutely. Paul George does more on the court. There's not even a question. It's not even a question. But I mean, Sixer fans are also saying, I mean, Paul George is 34. Can a 34, 35-year-old be a second option on the championship team?
Uh, he's in his prime.
You think so?
Yeah, he's not in his peak no more, but he's at the tail end of his prime. He's still he's still a top 15 player in the league to me.
BJ, his prime ended 2 years ago.
How did it end 2 years ago? Because he got hurt.
Yeah, that injury pretty much ended his prime.
What injury? The hyperextension of his
The
knee?
hyper, right.
He just made the All-Star team last year.
Yeah, BJ, guys still make the All-Star team when they're out their primes.
Who?
Chris Paul, a lot of players, LeBron.
When did Chris Paul make the All-Star team?
In 2022, I believe he made the All-Star team, and he was in year 16. Now year 17, actually.
The year
Yeah,
that the year after, right? He made the finals.
yeah, the year after the finals, right?
And wasn't he like top in MVP voting that year?
He was, yeah, I think he finished like fourth. Yep.
And he was out of his prime.
Yes. BJ, you can't be in your prime in year 16, year 7. Nah.
No. I'm saying if you're in the MVP category, you still are a high level basketball player.
Yeah, but BJ, there's a difference between a high level basketball player and your prime, though. Because I think your prime is a little bit higher than a high level basketball player.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is that it's easy to throw the narrative out there. Like that's what the whole thing. Oh, he's not good on defense no more. It's easy for somebody to say, well, he's not this, he's not that. But then when you see it on the court and you like, okay, All-Star, All NBA team, All defensive team, you see all the accolades are there, but yet he's still out of his prime or he can't play defense. Well, why is he getting listed with all these accomplishments?
You don't think sometimes some of these players can get the benefit of the the voting recognition?
Okay, Phoenix, after Chris Paul left, what happened?
They lost in the second round to the Nuggets, and then the next year they got swept. They got
They
swept.
got worse, right? They got
Yeah, they
worse.
got swept.
So is it safe to say he was the engine of that team?
Or is it safe to say that Phoenix Suns team was hurt?
You got
Because
swept.
BJ, you brought up the injuries. You brought up the injuries for
swept.
Devin Booker yesterday, so we got to use that same injuries for them.
You got your ass swept by a guy, Anthony Edwards, who was smiling on your home court, Kevin Durant.
Man, that Phoenix
they got worse, and not to mention you, Devin Booker. You didn't really do anything until Chris Paul got on your team.
That's true. That's true. But that Phoenix Suns team, they was dealing with injuries that whole season. Bradley Beal was out in and out the lineups. Devin Booker was in and out the lineup. So that probably
wait. I'm talking about last year. They got swept.
Yeah, they got swept right in the playoffs. But I'm talking about that regular season. They dealt with injuries that whole season. Bradley Beal didn't play a lot of games. Devin Booker didn't play a lot of games. Now Devin Booker did. Right? Devin Booker did play a lot of games, but Bradley Beal was in and out the lineups.
They played, right, though? They played in the playoffs, got swept, right?
Yeah, they got swept, yep.
All right, your ass got swept. And then the year before that, you really played a team in the Clippers that gave you a hard time without Kawhi and PG. So you almost, all them games that from games 3 to 5 that they got beat by Phoenix and Chris Paul was there, They almost got beat in that series, and in the series against Denver when Chris Paul got hurt, I mean they did. I mean they just didn't have no answer
But BJ, if that's the case, why didn't Chris Paul make the playoffs with Golden State?
because he's come off the bench.
Man, I got somebody in the building, man. Shout out to the casual. What's good, casual?
What's up, man?
Hey man, long time no see, man.
Of course, brother. You know, just been working, more work.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. What's up?
What's good?
Shit, nothing. Just come check in with you. You know, between us two, it's been a rough start, man. So
Terrible start for the Bucks. Yeah, terrible start for the Bucks and Sixers.
Yeah. Just checking on my fellow brother, man, because we got a common enemy. One of us got to take him down, man. So.
Yeah. But I mean, what's up, man? What you got? What you got?
I mean, what are you guys talking? You guys are talking about last night's game?
Yeah, with the Sixers, and we're talking about Maxey, Paul George. Who you think the second option should be?
I think it's rather clear right now. I think it should be Paul George. I think he just generates because of his height and his comfort with the ball in his hands to create opportunities for his teammates. I think he's just more comfortable right now than Tyrese Maxey. But I don't think if I have to choose, I'm picking Paul George. I don't think this is a situation where you have to choose. I think Paul George and Tyrese Maxey are equipped to step up, and you guys are in an offense that when Joel Embiid gets the proper reps with this particular unit, Paul George nor Tyrese Maxey are going to be expected to have to be the number 2 on a consistent basis. It'll be a as needed situation. And so I would say Paul George if a gun was to my head, but I don't think it's that type of situation down there.
Yeah, so you think on any given night it could be either or?
Yeah. Like last night, it made sense. It made sense because obviously Tyrese Maxey wasn't playing. But if Tyrese Maxey is there, likelihood is you do run it through Tyrese Maxey.
Right.
Because Tyrese Maxey with his quick first step. Obviously Jalen Brunson's not going to be able to chase after him, so you put a bigger player, but that means you're giving up on speed, and so that's right up Tyrese Maxey's alley.
Right. I mean, I agree, but Sixer fans, they really want Maxey to be the second option because Paul George is a little bit getting older, or he's 34 years old, and Maxey had a very fantastic playoff. I mean, the Sixers lost, but his performance, 30 points per game.
Older, man. Is he getting better or is he getting worse, man? Like,
BJ, that's what Sixer fans are saying, man. I'm just the messenger.
Hey, man, listen. You choose the guy who's more proven and who can do more on the court. Is that Maxey or Paul George?
Oh, that's Paul George. No,
there you
without
go.
a doubt.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm just
right now. I think they both approve. They both provided evidence that they can do it too.
I like Maxey, but damn it, he ain't Paul George, man. He ain't Paul George.
I mean, he's not Paul George from a shot creation standpoint. I agree, especially on the perimeter. But as far as like his ability to put pressure on the defense, like even last night, y'all didn't see that it was rather evident that Paul George is he's at a point in his career that he's more reliant on his perimeter shooting than him putting pressure on the rim.
I agree.
Yeah, he took a lot of jump shots. Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like that's the value that Tyrese Maxey provides as a ball handler in front of Paul George. It's just more variety in the shot creation standpoint. I think both of them at this point is the same level of creator for teammates. So it just comes to a pick your poison. If Paul George has it going like he did last night from a ball handling standpoint, creating on the perimeter, and his shot is going, then you probably feel a little more open to him being the primary ball handler. But on majority of the nights, I think just because of the pressure that Tyrese Maxey can put on defenses alone at the rim, like that alone, I think that's enough of a reason that you would give him. You would probably give him the ball handler responsibilities first.
Right. I mean, I don't even want Paul George bringing the ball up the floor because I don't think he really deals with pressure that well. I want to see him in a half court setting where, he can ISO, or, they can set some screening actions for him to come off of, and then, he'll get to his shots. But I mean, with Maxey putting pressure on the team's defense, I mean, that opens a lot of space up for Paul George too, because, the defense has to collapse. And, once the defense is in full rotations, I mean, if Paul George is open, he's definitely capitalizing on those open shots. I can see him making those open shots. Brian Pumper says if Maxey gets the whistle, he would be unstoppable. But Adam yeah, Maxey.
Stuff Adam Silver done said, man.
Yeah,
he might be.
Yeah, Maxey doesn't get the benefit of the whistle. I mean, that Milwaukee game. I mean, casual. You can admit he got bear hug. Got
he didn't get that much love. He didn't get that much love.
Right.
Now, while I say Paul George should be the second option, and even sometimes the first, I think because of his ability to do other things, he might allow Maxey to be the second option because he can't. If he ain't scoring, if Maxey ain't putting the ball in the basket, he ain't doing much of nothing else. So if you say, okay, one night, okay, PG, I need you to play defense on the best player, that's going to open up Maxey to do what he needs to do on the offensive end and carry the offense. So I think the Sixers would do something like that. I think Paul George would do something like, hey, bro, I got you on defense. I just need you to go crazy on the offensive end and be who you are, be the dominant player you are on the court every single night.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, because right now I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm confused as to how exactly they're gonna run it. Nick Nurse is having situations where he's by this time they were supposed to be playing together. In the way that we envisioned this season going on the off season, by this time Joel Embiid would have been on the court for, I want to say, probably about 4 games up to this point. Paul George would have had the proper reps with him. And Tyrese Maxey obviously is Tyrese Maxey. But as it stands right now, that has been discombobulated. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But I will say this though. I think people are being a little bit too harsh on Joel Embiid from last night's game.
I agree.
Not just from the fact that
I was one of them to be clear. But go ahead. Yep. But go ahead.
Nah, I get it from the standpoint of like you would have preferred for him to be here sooner, but one, the injuries that he's been dealing with, you be very diligent. I advise as somebody that works in the medical field, you want to be very diligent with them. And if it comes at the sacrifice of you being winning another MVP or All NBA, like for sure. What you don't want to do is you don't want to sacrifice the team chemistry. So that is the fine line that you're walking with this tactic. But bro, y'all have tried so much when it comes to Joel Embiid's health and making sure that he makes it to the postseason healthy. It almost feels like this is the only option y'all have left. So I think y'all have to take it. And even still, like him missing some extra games, bro. If somebody mentioned my family as a man, like I understand it's a business and I understand this is what you get paid to do. But if somebody mentions my family, one of my dead relatives, bro, it's up. I don't know what to tell you. So me personally, I think he's getting a bad rap so far this season for some stuff that one is out of his control, and then the other thing that is in his control, they have tried for multiple years to address it in different ways to the point to where I feel like this is the only way to go. And he did not play nearly as bad. He just looked out of sorts. He looked like he hadn't played in a minute.
Right. I mean the endurance. I mean the level of effort that he played with is what I'm questioning. Which I mean you just said the knee injury. Which I know you work in the medical field. I mean I'm in the medical field too. But that's the only thing that I was questioning him on. Especially with him missing 9 games, I expected him to be in much better shape than he was in last night. But I don't know if you remember this last year when we played the Bucks the first game of the season. He looked terrible. So I was expecting him to last night to look a lot better than what he looked in past seasons, and it was like the same thing to me. Right. So that's the only thing that I question, but not the game. I mean, he was clearly rusty. Those jumpers was coming up short. just hitting the front of the rim. So I know he's definitely going to get into rhythm. But the only thing I question is the effort. That's all.
So we'll see. Because like that Bucks game last year, shit. As soon as y'all got done with that game, shit, he went right back on his bully. And
Right.
it's not like Nick Nurse's system is going to be so difficult that it's going to take like a longer time. It's all up to just them putting him on the court. Put him on the court. Like, I understand he's not playing tonight, right? Him and Paul George are going to be sitting out because it's a back-to-back. So I
Right.
understand he's not playing tonight, but just make sure, like, as long as Nick Nurse is putting him on the court, giving him the proper reps with the unit that he's mainly going to be playing with, and just making sure that like everything is brought to him in a simple 1-2 step, and not too complex. I think that he'll be just fine. I see no reason why he shouldn't be back to the Joel Embiid we know before All-Star break.
Yeah, I agree with. I agree. Yeah, before the All-Star break, that should be enough time for him to absolutely get himself back together. So yeah.
But hey, I gotta get back to this stream. I'm actually streaming too. I'm streaming you. But
Oh wow.
right. Hey, chat. Say hey to DFJ. Hey, BJ. I think this is the first time I've ever met you. Salute to you, brother. It is a pleasure to meet you. I've heard great things about you from DFJ and other people over in our community. We actually share a community, so it's a pleasure to meet you. But I'm gonna let you guys get back to it. Salute to you, chat. I'll holler at you later. Peace.
All right. I'm gonna follow you, bro.
Peace.
Appreciate
All right,
you,
family.
sir.
Yeah, casual connection. Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
I'm about to
great.
I'm about to get his channel. I'm gonna follow him.
Yeah, I can. Let me see if I can put it in the chat.
Seem like he know what he talking about.
Right.
He said,
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you on the gram.
Yeah, hit
I
me
got
up
you.
on there.
Yeah.
He said Maxey has played 278 minutes and registered 0 offensive rebounds. He averaged 3 rebounds per game of his career. That's atrocious. Damn, I didn't even know that.
The sporting page is funny, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on, man. He a little guard, bro.
yeah. He's a great one-way offensive player, man. He has a lot of street ball in his game. You know,
Flair to him. Mm-hmm.
Philly loves that. So I can see why they love a player like him. But I mean, I love Allen Iverson. But is he better than Kobe Bryant?
Nah, hell no.
So I like him, but is he better? And can he do more? That's if you want to know a comparison that Maxey and PG just looked at AI and Kobe. Not saying PG is Kobe. I'm not saying that for Philly fans or whatever. He's not Kobe. There's only one Kobe Bryant. But I'm comparing a 6'1", 6'2", one-way point guard to a 6'8", 6'9", two-way wing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just facts.
Yeah. Let me go through some of these comments right here. Shout out to Rap Guy Reloaded, man. Appreciate you. Tuna Sports says I disagree, but I respect BJ's opinion. My stance stays. I think he disagrees with you on the probably the Donovan Mitchell take.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. He's the best two-way guard in the NBA, huh? I mean, he's playing like it right now. I mean, Mitchell playing like it. That's the only thing I've always questioned is him in the postseason, and he plays individually well, but I mean, he always just comes up short.
It ends in the second round.
Shit, sometimes in the first round.
It ends when you got to see Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson in the first round.
You know, losing. And people talk about 3-1 leads. I mean, shit, he gave a 3-1 lead up to the same team that the Clippers gave a 3-1 lead up to.
But nobody talks about that.
No one talks about it, but they don't talk about it because Donovan Mitchell ain't thought of like that. See,
right.
that's why I say, I mean, Mitchell individually has always been great. It's just, can he get his team past the hump?
I mean, he says this year the Cavs are a championship contender, so I expect him to do it.
I mean, they're
So
definitely. I agree with that. I don't think like it's like years past where his team start off hot and then I think they have a legit chance just off of how he's playing, the coach he got, and the sentiments of his comments saying that uh, I want to be a top 10 player in the league. I just feel it's a different year for him, that they could be there.
yeah, I mean, I believe he has an argument to being a top 10 player, but sometimes that argument is not just strong enough. The shooting guard position is trash. Nah, I think the power forward position is trash because other than Giannis, who's the second best power forward in the league? Ryan Pumper says I watched Josh Hart hit Maxey with a with the swanton bomb last year. No whistle. He really got the worst whistle in the league. I mean, that's true. Don't really get to the line
But
as
why
much
is that? Why is that though?
because he's not a star player yet. He don't get
But
them.
yeah, but yet he's all this though. So if he ain't a star player, how is he a second option?
No, I think he's saying that Maxey's not a second option. He was still able to put up numbers in the playoffs. So imagine if he was getting those whistles, he'll probably put up better numbers. So I think
So
Brian
are
is
you
trying to say.
telling me? Are you telling me Sixer fans are telling you and telling everybody else that Maxey is a top player and a second option because of that Knicks series where they came up short?
Yes.
That's not a good. That's not a good talking point. I mean, I can see if y'all won, but y'all lost in those efforts. And I know people think I'm being harsh on Maxey, but this is what's given, what's required. All second options and first options are asked to have the same criticism. So if you would have a point, if you would have won, but you didn't, you lost.
But BJ, to be fair, the Sixers didn't lose the series because of Maxey not showing up though. And Sixer fans were saying that he showed up, he did his job as a second option. I mean, giving you 30 points in the playoff series, that's great numbers. But who was the third option? Tobias Harris. He gave you 0 points in Game 6. So
Now, Tobias is a bum, and that's another thing.
right. So yeah, go ahead.
I hate to say it like this, but I have to, because for people to keep trying to, and this, I want Philly fans to listen closely. For you guys to keep comparing Tobias Harris to a 9-time All-Star, 4-time All-Defensive Team player, 7-time All-NBA team player. I don't know what to tell you when you keep trying to put him in the same breath as Paul George. They are two. That is night and day. That is blasphemous to even be in the same category. Like, they say he's taking the Tobias Harris role. I'm like, Tobias Harris, what is has he made an All-Star team his whole career?
Never. He never did.
Has he led his own team anywhere?
Led his own team no. He's been a franchise player, but he never led them anywhere.
He's been a franchise player. How? Because he got paid like one, or did he play like one?
With the Clippers, he was a franchise player at that time, but he got traded, so he couldn't take him anywhere. That's what I mean. Because he was with the Clippers at 19 season, averaging 20-8, 20-9, or some numbers like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
As a franchise player? Wow, shit, news to me.
That 19 Clippers team, that 8th seed, yeah, that was what he was averaging with them.
So you was averaging pretty much third option. Bradley Beal averages that about in Phoenix right now. we praising that. That's why I was telling you, man. They praising mediocrity.
But BJ, I mean, Sixer fans are saying that with Maxey playing out of his mind, and then the Sixers replacing Paul George with Tobias Harris, they're saying that he should, if he's in that Tobias Harris, or he's going to do a much better job than what Tobias Harris did. But I agree. But in what you call it, I agree with you, because Paul George can definitely be a second option, or on certain nights he can do other things, and let Maxey be the second option.
They're trying to compare apples and oranges with that comparison. That's a terrible comparison. They shouldn't even be in the same sentence.
I agree. I mean, I haven't heard. Maybe there has been, but I haven't heard them comparing those kind of players. It's just, come on, man. Two different players, two completely different players. It's not even close.
You need to go on X, because I've been listening. I've been looking online. They saying, shit, we have kept Tobias Harris over Paul George because he had a bad shooting game his first game back, where he was on minutes restrictions. So he's supposed to put up 30 points, fucking 50% from the field, 40% from the three, and like 8 rebounds in like 25 minutes of play.
Yeah,
That's what he's supposed to do. The standards they have on some of these
that's the
guys,
casual fans, man.
you could tell who they like and who they don't like.
Right.
But it's cool. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. But
Right.
all I'm saying is, for y'all need to play the long game, because you're dealing with a guy who's had knee problems. He's a big dude. He's like 300 pounds. You have to play the long game with him. So you can't be so caught up in they're 2-8. I mean, shit, we were 3-6 last year. We still end up in the 4th seed. So, and that was in the West. The East is weak. Well, weaker. It's not. It's more top heavy. It's not as much depth. So you got it can change. That seeding can change in a week.
Right. Yeah. Sporting Page says Maxey's strength is his motor. He's constantly going, and that's only offensively. Paul George is 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in his sleep. But Sporting Page, you wasn't talking like that yesterday, though.
How is he talking?
I mean, he giving Paul George all this props, and last night I did my stream, and he said Paul George ain't got no pull up J.
Yeah, he must have been trolling. That's his bread and butter. He pulls up all the. That's the thing. I don't have an issue with him pulling up. It's like, I don't think you need to be shooting a lot of 3-point shots when you got like a mismatch in the paint. Like, that's something else I see what he's doing more. He's starting to post up more. Like, he's catching the ball closer to the basket.
Right.
That's cool. That's fine. You can do that all day. But I don't want you dribbling on the perimeter and trying to shoot all these long ass threes. That's where things go south.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Sporting Page says both Maxey and PG got to step up. Period. Yeah, we agree with that. Not everyone is upset Embiid is load managing. The upsetting part is his constant chucking of shots and threes, his decision making. All these things have nothing to do with a reporter or his knees. Tyrese Maxey is like Allen Iverson when he was 15 years old. The NBA Cup is terrible by Rap Guy Reloaded. I mean, I don't have any issues with it. I just have issues with the courts, because the courts is just terrible. They be hurting my eyes. That's the only issues I have with it. But I treat these games like they regular season games. I don't really care about the NBA Cup. I just treat it like a regular season game. Salute to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Yeah, salute Rap Guy Reloaded. Salute
Rap Guy. Salute. Let me ask you. So who's all in y'all pool for the in season tournament? Who's
in
in y'all
season
pool?
tournament? I think the Cavs, the Knicks, Charlotte, and I probably Orlando. Probably the Magic. Yeah. I think it's 5 teams. So
I think the teams that's gonna give y'all the most trouble is not gonna be Boston. It's not going to be the Knicks. It ain't going to be Orlando. I think it's going to be the Cavs.
Oh, it's not. It's not the Cavs. It's Brooklyn. My fault. Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Hey, they got a winning record, bro.
Fuck, the fucking Cavs are 12-0.
Now I'm saying not the Cavs is not in the same pool as Brooklyn instead.
Oh, Brooklyn. I thought you said the
Brooklyn.
Cavs. You said the Cavs. You meant to say
Yeah, I
the
said the
Nets.
Cavs at first, but I had to look it up and then yeah, it's not the Cavs.
So the Nets, they got Orlando and the
New
Knicks,
York and Charlotte. Yep.
Charlotte. So 5 teams. Y'all better than the Nets and y'all better than
The Hornets.
the Hornets, right? So y'all better than those 2 teams. The Knicks, y'all are better than the Knicks, but the Knicks being full strength and having a core yesterday is what propelled them. And then you had 2 of your stars on ministry. You really didn't have no one on the court because one of your guys was out, the other guy was on a heavy minutes restriction coming back, and the other guy was on minutes restriction. But yet he had to let the game in scoring with those same minutes restrictions.
Right.
That's like y'all having all y'all guys not on minutes restriction, and then Jalen Brunson is out. OG Anunoby's on minutes restriction, and motherfucking Karl Anthony Towns is on minutes restriction. Knicks fans will be crying. Oh, you ain't healthy. Okay, shit. Philly ain't healthy.
Right.
That don't mean shit. That's still 1-0 Philly and New York. I know Philly got a rivalry with New York, so they don't care about that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Rap got reloaded. Nets are better than expected. Yeah, they started off much better. I thought they was gonna be trash from the start to because they tanking for Cooper Flag, but they winning games. Nick Claxton, what you call it? Nick Claxton and Cam Thomas. They winning games, and Ben Simmons he doing his thing. Dennis Schroeder also doing his thing. But I mean, I believe they're gonna drop. But the early, sometimes when the season starts, some of these trash teams they start winning games. I mean, we've seen that with teams in the past, like the Utah Jazz a few seasons ago, where they were the first seed in the Western Conference, and then come playoff time, they were not even in the play-in. So I believe Brooklyn is going to drop. Let's pull up podcast, YouTube, and Twitter so I can sub. Yeah, it's the Pull Up Basketball Podcast.
Yeah, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. You gotta put the whole thing in for YouTube because a bunch of other channels come up with just pull up. So you gotta put.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the link right there. So, sporting page, there you go. Sporting page says, excellent episode, brothers. The sporting page has to get going. Bless. Yeah, bless up. Appreciate you. Yeah, I gotta get ready to close out anyway, because I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. We covered almost everything. The games. The Sixers take on the Cavs tonight, which, like I said, it's a scheduled loss. No Embiid, no PG, no Maxey. So it's just, I mean, they could win, but the odds is just not in their favor. So they'll probably lose this game. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast who stopped by. Y'all can sub to his channel right down there. Shout out to Kobe Bryant Film Room. Shout out to Casual, a Casual Connection. That's his channel name. Y'all can go sub to him as well. Very, very deep, intelligent basketball mind. So y'all can go sub to his channel. But appreciate Rick Masters for the $20 super chat. Appreciate Brian Pumper for the super chat, the $5 super chat as well. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to Rap Guy Reloaded. Shout out to the Sporting Page. Tune in Sports. Tune in Sports been ducking, but I'm gonna definitely catch him. But shout out to my guy Michael. In the beginning, appreciate you. He's always in here showing love and support. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. E Gibson, appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, it was a bunch of y'all, man. I appreciate the support. Appreciate y'all for showing up here. Shout out to JS. I missed this comment from the beginning. He says process 2.0 Cooper Flag. Welcome to the welcome to the Sixers. You want Cooper Flag? That'd be unfair, bro. That would be unfair. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. This was a great episode. Do the post game reaction tomorrow. Shout out to Who's Hendo. Peace.